Hello everyone, this is 10,000 eliminations with the MAC 10 in Cold War multiplayer. As I have been grinding to get this many eliminations, I have been taking notes on the MAC 10 and will now share with you what I have learned. Let's get started with what the best setup slash loadout is for the MAC 10. Without a doubt, the best attachment setup is to have the sound suppressor muzzle, 5.9-inch task force barrel, salvo 53 round fast magazine, serpent wrap handle, and the wire stock. This setup sacrifices recoil control for better movement, and yes, the MAC 10 by default has a decent amount of recoil, but as you practice, the recoil can definitely be controlled, even at range. The best loadout is to have perk greed as the wildcard, flak jacket, tactical mask, scavenger, quartermaster, ninja, and ghost as the perks, stun grenade as the tactical, semtex as the lethal, field mic as the field upgrade, and sigma 2 as the secondary. This setup is intended to keep you as hidden from the enemy as possible, while also giving you the ability to play close quarters when needed. Now let us move on to two situations that work best for the MAC 10 and this loadout. The first situation this setup works great for is when flanking. Combined Arms Assault is probably the best game mode to perform flanks on the enemy team. Both teams are so focused on capturing zones and the maps are so large, this allows for ample room to get behind the enemy team. Not only are you light with this setup, which allows you to move faster, but the time to kill with the MAC 10 is very fast and you have a large magazine. If you position yourself correctly, you can find yourself getting multiple kills before the enemy even turns around to shoot you. After you practice this strategy, you can start to kill a couple of enemies on the flank and then change positions, then flank again. If you keep repeating this process, you can get some solid kill streaks, which will help you get your score streaks faster. The second situation is close quarters fights. A good game mode for this is Face Off. This is a 3 versus 3 game mode on mosh pit maps, so everything is very close quarters. There is very little room to flank the enemy, so you are almost always forced to face them head on. However, this is not a bad thing since this setup works great for that as well. The important thing here is to get used to holding a position, hugging corners, and aiming down your sights before popping out of cover. Since you can move pretty fast while aiming down sights with this setup, you can barely pop out of cover, get a couple shots off, and then quickly pop back into cover before the enemy can do too much damage to you. After you practice this strategy multiple times, you will start to find yourself getting kill streaks more often than dying. If you happen to get pushed while holding in position, let go of your aim down sights and transfer to hip fire. Also, add some type of movement in, whether it's stepping from side to side or crouching up and down to make it harder for the enemy to hit you. The hip fire accuracy along with the fast movement speed of this setup of the MAC 10 is particularly good. Due to this, I find myself winning most point blank range fights. One final point to add to this situation is to not only hug corners, but also make use of cover areas where you only have your head and your gun visible when you peek out of cover. This will make it much harder for the enemy to hit you. Aside from the situations we just covered where this setup works well, sometimes the enemy team is going to be set up in every way to stop your advances to get close range fights. In these cases, I have found it very beneficial to continue using this loadout. However, I start looking for a long range weapon on the ground that either an ally or an enemy has dropped. If I find one, I will switch out the Sigma 2 for the weapon and proceed to use that weapon until I can get into a close range situation once again, where I then switch back to the MAC 10. A final note is I highly recommend focusing on getting good with one weapon before changing to other weapons. My experience with just focusing on the MAC 10 until I got 10,000 eliminations has caused me to get extremely comfortable with how the weapon handles and has also allowed me to know what move is best in intense situations. Due to this, my average score per minute has skyrocketed from low 300s to almost 500 score per minute. Not only that, my elimination death ratio has jumped from roughly 1.5 to just about 2.3. When I got Damascus in Modern Warfare, I definitely did not notice as big of a jump in skill as I have on this game, with just focusing on one weapon versus focusing on many. And that is all I got for you in this video. If you have any questions at all, please post them in the comment section. Leave a like if you found this video to be helpful or enjoyable. Subscribe for more. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.